smashing through the lies, destroying narratives, and breaking through the mainstream media programming. This is Tomorrow's America. Thank you for watching Tomorrow's America. My name is William Donahue. As you can see, the title of today's show is LARPing Left Threatens Civil War. Sleeping Giant Has Awoken. So the left is LARPing. That means live action role play. All this tough guy stuff that you see, all this, violent rhetoric and all that. The left isn't really about it. The left has been anti-gun. The left has been, pro-LGBT, all these different things for all these years. The right has always been the athletic ones, the ones that own guns, the ones that, work construction jobs and all that. I mean, you got your outliers and your oddballs, but for the most part, that's generally how it goes. That's how it's been. So I'm calling it, the whole theme of the show today is LARPing, because we're about to see a whole lot of live action role play. So Richard did a show yesterday that was awesome, episode 10. I suggest everyone go check it out. It was all about foreign policy and what's going on with global politics. I think that he did a good job. I think that he covered all the bases. He talked about Mark Carney and the New World Order and all that. So the New World Order has been a thing for a very long time. This book was written in probably the 80s or 90s, 1989. Book was complete in 1989. So the New World Order has been a thing for a long time. That was always a militaristic New World Order. When you hear a rules-based order, or we don't have the law of the jungle. These are key words that signify that they're talking about the New World Order. But yesterday, Mark Carney just came straight out and said that he was trying to strengthen ties with China for, to make the New World Order better. So I wanted to get into that, or I'm not going to get into that. I'm just talking about what Rich said yesterday. He also talked about the EU and how they are playing into this whole thing with China and everything. And they're also LARPing. So the EU is acting real tough right now, saying they're going to invoke Article 5 because of what Trump wants to do in Greenland. I think it's kind of funny, though. The EU gave all their weapons to Ukraine to go fight Russia with. They even took like military equipment from museums and sent them over to Ukraine, and their tanks were falling apart on the battlefield. It was pretty laughable what they sent to Ukraine, but now they don't have anything for themselves. So it'd be pretty funny. This is what I mean, they're LARPing. It'd be funny to watch them try and fight us, because they literally don't have any defenses. Also, they say that they want to invoke Article 5, if we go into Greenland and, try and annex Greenland or try and set up military bases there. And I also think that's pretty funny, because the EU is literally let us bomb the Nord Stream pipeline and cut off access for all of Europe pretty much to get Russian oil. And their oil prices went way up, and Russia, was able to sell their oil elsewhere. They actually probably ended up making out from it. So pretty funny. But those are just a couple things I wanted to add to what Richard said yesterday. I'm going to be talking about what's going on in Minnesota. And I'm going to start with this image to go along with it, because because all right, I don't have the image, but basically Eli Crane introduced a bill that would end funding for the National Endowment for Democracy. So it sounds like a good thing. It sounds like something we'd want to fund, you know, a institution that's going to promote democratic ideas and democratic institutions and all these things. But the National Endowment for Democracy, what they really do is they promote socialist policies in the United States. And they are not something that we should be funding. And it's actually pretty ridiculous that 81 Republicans voted in favor of keeping, so they voted nay on the bill to end the National Endowment for Democracy. They voted to keep it, and that funds everything antithetical to what Republicans believe in. So this is where you start to hear terms like the Uniparty and all that. Here, let's just go to that. So this is the official vote on the Senate floor for that bill, and it was passed, or it wasn't passed. They kept the National Endowment for Democracy. So we are going to get into a couple videos here. Now, the first video I have, so they're funding all this Minnesota stuff, this color revolution, this socialism in New York City. They're funding all this through NGOs, special interest groups, PACs, the National Endowment for Democracy. You know, these are layers upon layers of institutions that have for 80 years benefited the Democrat Party and stolen money from the taxpayers to pay for a system to be installed that in place of our current system of freedoms, liberties, small government, all these things want to make control, order, big government, communism, no private property. So we are going to get into the first couple videos here. And what I have is ICE doing patrols, and CNN went on for a ride along with ICE. And the whole time they're complimenting them. They're, you know, showing their operation, showing how everything's run. And no criticism. They didn't call them Nazis back then. It's actually pretty hilarious. So this is from 2016, back when the left didn't just completely lose their minds. I'm having trouble getting my videos up here, so I do apologize. There we go. So, like I said, this is from 2016.
Just before the sun rises in the Windy City, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents fan out across Chicago to arrest criminals in the U.S. illegally.
Tag 1, Tag 2, Tag 3.
CNN was granted exclusive access to witness some of those raids.
We got 3 targets this morning. You know, some of the neighborhoods a little sketchy, so we got to make sure it's not just the target we're looking at, but other people around us.
They want to come out extra early, like right now, because they want to catch these people before they go to work. That's why it starts so early in the morning.
All right, let's roll, guys. A lot of things go through your head. Your adrenaline, blood pressure, of course, goes up when you're getting ready to do something like this. All right, that vehicle behind us is off limits.
How many people are involved with this operation, particularly right now?
I have a 5-man arrest team here situated in this neighborhood here on the street. You see the stoop going up. I have a couple guys sitting right inside that stoop. This is part of what we do. Keep eyes on somebody and try to be as covert as we can. There we go. Is that him in white?
This may look organized, but in this moment, confusion.
There's always challenges we face when it's dark. Somebody looks very similar to an individual.
ICE agents mistakenly arrest the target's brother.
In the process of talking to him in the vehicle, He then said, oh, no, I'm actually so-and-so. Who you're looking for is over here, this other address. He led us to that address, and we were able to actually arrest the individual we were looking for.
So you get an idea of, you know, they had music to it. They showed the operation, no criticisms. They showed how professional it was. See, if there wasn't a group of protesters screaming and shooting fireworks at them and blocking the road, then it would just go like that, nice and smooth. You go, you pick up the guy. And I actually have a list of people that Buffalo ICE has arrested in the past like 4 or 5 months. These are some of the more major ones, and it's pretty disgusting. So there's a lot of people who go out and they'll just protest this stuff and say no one's illegal on stolen land and all this. Well, it's the United States land. The whole world recognizes it. We have laws, we have orders, we have citizenships, we have things on the book that are unarguable. So these people violated those laws and are now being deported by ICE Buffalo, who has made some pretty major arrests lately. So here's a list. Allah Mohammed, 39, stabbed his sister. Mohammed Sakir, wire fraud to the tune of $262,500. That's what he has to pay back. So that's what he got caught doing. They also arrested an international fugitive from Ukraine, a white lady, Elhina Poleshchuk, for drug trafficking. They arrested a sex offender who was racketeering, had $20,000 in grand theft, forgery, fraud, trafficking stolen property. They arrested 4 illegal immigrants on the I-90 who had CDLs. Obviously, we know what happens when you give illegal immigrants CDLs and they do U-turns in front of oncoming traffic and kill a bunch of people in huge multi-car pileups. We've seen it over and over again. There's a guy, Has Na, from Thailand. He's a sex offender, and he was making and distributing child pornography in Buffalo, New York. Saim Igre, and I'm butchering all these names, but they're obviously not American names. Assault, strangulation, resisting arrest. He yelled Allahu Akbar while grabbing the officer's taser when they were trying to arrest him. He violently tried to resist arrest. They made that arrest, and he is being deported. John Giacomelos from Greece, and he is wanted for murder and robbery. And Jose Manuel, a child rapist. So I just picked some of the big major ones since October of 2025. And obviously these are not minor things that these people are being arrested for. ICE is targeting criminal illegal aliens first, the most violent ones, the most dangerous ones. Obviously all illegal immigrants are criminals because crossing the border is a crime. So, you know, pretty important to note. But that's a list of what's been happening with ICE Buffalo. Now, Minnesota, because of this whole conflict, has has mobilized the National Guard. So they are, amid ongoing protests, they've nationalized mobilized the National Guard, Tim Walz, to support the Minnesota State Patrol and other law enforcement during expected weekend protests downtown. So I'm not sure exactly what their plan is, if their plan is to have the National Guard attack ICE or, you know, fight on behalf of the people. And then my next video is, her name is Kate Wilson. She's the Seattle mayor. And she says that there is fraud in Seattle, but she's not going to investigate it. Basically, she's saying that even if there was fraud, she's not going to investigate it because the whole thing is divisive to the Somali community.
I mean, I don't think it needs to be explained why it's problematic to have random people showing up to daycares. Yeah, I mean, I think the fear in the Somali community is real. The fear in immigrant communities are real. So we're taking that very seriously.
Along those lines, have you asked anyone to follow up on the fraud claims either to the Department of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs or SPD?
No.
So there's, as far as you're concerned right now, there's no reason to suggest there's any sort of fraud.
This whole issue is not really about fraud, right? It's about dividing and conquering. It's about making an immigrant community a target, right? There's no reason to assume based on the identity of a daycare operator that their small business is doing anything wrong. I mean, I don't think it needs to be explained why it's problematic to have.
Well, it's kind of funny how we just saw CNN and their coverage of ICE operations in a sanctuary city too. That video was from a sanctuary city, and then the evolution of the Democrat Party beliefs from Obama to Joe Biden to Kamala Harris and now to Tim Walz, and then it's spreading, to Seattle, Ohio. They're all Gavin Newsom. They're all saying they're not going to investigate fraud or they're not going to shut down these protests. They used to believe in ICE and believe in deportations and understand the ins and outs of the country. But because of the media and because of the way that they have changed their narrative, the left's mindset has changed. The right and the left used to agree on deportations and, ICE and all the things that are normal for a country. Part of having a country is having borders. And now the media has changed their narrative, so the left has changed their beliefs, which just shows you how tied the left is to the media. And, I wrote on the title, "The Sleeping Giant Has Awoken," because the right now is the media. The right now is the alternate media and independent journalism and podcasters. That's the new media. They come out and they get 10 million views, and a CNN clip like that doesn't get half the views. And CNN is on in every hospital waiting room, every airport. They got channels running that no one's watching, and they get all these views from it. But the independent journalists, people have to go and they have to search it up and find and watch on purpose, intentionally. They have to watch those media sources. So, CNN is propped up media, and the right is becoming the real media. And because of that, people are able to see what's really going on. They're not being lied to anymore. So the sleeping giant has awoken. So Kate Wilson's not going to investigate fraud in Seattle. That's a big deal. This is another part of the same thought. The sleeping giant has awoken. Don Lemon went out to a Christian church, and he went out and basically disrupted a church for no reason. They thought that there was ICE present at this local church. They thought there was ICE presence at this local church, and there wasn't. There was no ICE there. It was just a group of people celebrating the life of Jesus, having a Christian mass, doing what they do every Sunday. And Don Lemon brought he's going to claim that he didn't, but he brought a whole group of people to this church. They had it all planned out with a local community organizer and all this stuff. And they went in there and made themselves look totally stupid. They disrupted the church service. Everyone was super confused. They asked the pastor a bunch of questions, and he just made them look stupid. He's like, I don't know, we are having church service. Can you leave? And he's trying to make it accusatory. He's like, well, do you think your people should agree with this? But in reality, what is there not to agree with? So he received a ton of backlash for disrupting the church service. And I got a before and after video. So they're going to play him after the disruption after the media response to what happened, and then they're gonna play, you know, his take on it, or what he did beforehand, show how he organized with all these people. He was in the car with the organizer of the whole thing. So listen to the contradiction and how he tries to lie to people.
The MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because it's a assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon, or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. All of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protest at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And we all have the address, right?
Yes.
Everybody has the address? Yeah.
So they're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invied folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. That is what I can say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go. Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
To see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you. Tell us why you're doing this.
So
This is Nakima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show
Nakima
on
Levy
Friday.
Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual.
Okay, so we're going to go to the operation again. We're not going to give any of the information away. But seatbelt. Don't give anything away. But we're doing this clandestine.
So we get the idea. He is all giddy to be part of this thing. You know, he's there beforehand. Everyone got the address. He's literally there. And when he walks up to the lady, he even goes, he's like, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be here. As if almost he organized it, which is funny. But it's not so funny because this is, somebody that supposedly is a respected journalist. So the next clip I have is a clip from inside of the church where they're just making total fools of themselves, chanting about ICE that doesn't even go to the church. There is no ICE operation inside of the church. And they go in, they're like, ICE out, ICE out. They're chanting. I want you to pay attention and look at how confused the audience is of this church, the members of the church.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street and you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the civil rights movement was about, the civil rights movement was about these very kinds of protests. And for some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area and, what time you can protest. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt.
So he wants to disrupt business as usual, as the lady said, which as you can see, business as usual was literally just people in a church having a mass. There was no ice there, and they kind of, didn't really preface it by saying we're going out to look for ice. But when they got there, they started chanting "ice out." So this is them LARPing. The theme of the show, LARPing. This is them LARPing. Look at the camera angle and the dramatic, view of it, and the wall of people. There's only 20 people here or whatever, but they make it look like it's this huge crowd. They have the camera super low to the ground so you can't see over the back of the people and tell that there's only 15 people there. And they put on this show like they're stopping something or helping something, and in reality, they're just disrupting a church service for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So here's the next clip for you.
Justice for Renee! 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 We need justice! We need justice! Justice for Renee! Justice for Renee!
Justice for Renee Good. In the other video, they were chanting "ice out, ice out." Now they're chanting "justice for Renee Good." So let's look at what Renee Good did and what they think deserves justice. This is a clip of Renee Good ramming a police officer, and unfortunately, she did pass away from this incident. She was shot by the ICE officer, but I want to put this full screen for you guys so you can see. Here's like right afterward.
And then I saw her face.
So you can clearly see her plowing into the ICE agent. That is assault with a deadly weapon. That ICE officer suffered from internal bleeding. He was hospitalized afterwards because of it. And, then they go out LARPing and say, "Justice for Renee Good," as if she's some kind of hero or somebody that did something good, or, the left wing has been saying, "Oh, she was a confused woman that was making a 3-point turn. She didn't realize where she was. She ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time." No, she was out there. She was trained to be ICE Watch. She was in a different state than her home state on purpose, intentionally, to go out and participate in those activities. She was blocking traffic. She hit an ICE agent with her car and gave him internal bleeding. And because of all those actions, the consequence was that she ended up passing away. Now, I'm going to go to this clip here. This is Don Lemon interviewing the pastor of the church. And the pastor, obviously, same thing as the rest of the congregation. He's super confused. He has no idea what's going on. And he's basically like, "We're here to worship. Can you please leave?" Like, it's literally ridiculous.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus, because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world, is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
Okay, that's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
Unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship.
Yeah.
We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So obviously, let me go back to that. Look at the look on his face. He he didn't get what he wanted out of this interview. Look at that. Look at that look on his face. All the guy is saying is like, unless you're here for a church service, can you leave? These churches aren't public property. They're not somewhere that the government owns, that taxpayers pay for, that you could just go into and disrupt. They are a private owned church with their own members. And here's Don Lemon and a bunch of random people chanting about something that has nothing to do with the place that they're at. They're literally like, look so stupid. And that's why Don Lemon obviously wanted to deny that he was involved in planning the thing. You know, he's like, why don't you talk to the lady who organized it? Throwing her under the bus because they didn't get what they wanted. It wasn't what they thought it was going to be when they got there. So, pretty ridiculous. And that was a pastor interview. So what is this predicated on? It's predicated on the Renee Good situation. Obviously, we just saw that she was the one who hit the ICE officer. She initiated the physical contact. She initiated the exchange of deadly force. She gave deadly force and was met in retaliation with deadly force. Although the only deadly force that was successful was the ICE agent, and she passed away. But it was because of her actions, because she initiated a course of action that, you know, if you read police handbooks, a vehicle is a deadly weapon. And when you assault an officer with a deadly weapon, that is a justifiable reason to use deadly force in return. So the whole thing, you know, the justice was served. The justice was served to Renee Good for plowing into a police officer. He didn't deserve that. He deserved justice, and he got it. He got it really quick at about probably 1,200 feet per second. He got that justice. And I don't like to make a joke of it, but they're turning this into something that it's not. It's actually absolutely ridiculous. So now, because of this whole Renee Good, it started off with them protesting ICE, which is a legal federal law enforcement agency that's given jurisdiction and power by the government. And then Renee Good passed away, and that's what really spiked it into something that's out of control. So now there's journalists, right-wing journalists, out trying to cover these events and trying to document, because the left will take a video and they'll they have training where they tell them, even if you're an illegal immigrant and you're getting handcuffed and you're getting shoved in the back of a police car, just start yelling, I'm a citizen, what are you doing? And that way, when they clip the little part of the video out, it looks like ICE is arresting citizens. It's all an illusion. It's all LARPing. It's all them trying to play the part of the victim. And they have training courses on victimhood, basically, because every aspect, every box that you could check, they're wrong. So this is Nick Sortor going out to document and make sure that people do get the real story of what is actually happening. And a Somalian woman runs out and steals his cell phone, or steals his camera.
Hey, get. What did she just do? She fucking.
Oh, shit. Okay, it's okay.
She took Nick's camera. She just stole Nick's camera. Let's get her. No, give him the camera. Just tell her to give him the camera back. Give him the camera. What happened, Nick?
So, That lady turned out to be identified as one of the Somali daycare owners who's probably uh, involved in the fraud scandal that's going on. So she obviously wouldn't want any documenting of what's going on because it doesn't benefit her. And, you know, Somalians are from a third world country. They're known to be pirates. This is how they think. This is why, obviously, she might even be a citizen or whatever. But this is the thought process. I'm the captain now. They're pirates. They literally use scare tactics and all these third world methods of trying to create a colony within the United States that is, you know, separate from the United States. They have their own leaders, their own representatives. They're paying off juries and judges. All this is documented. All this is like literally legal proceedings, and there's been arrests and charges made for all of what I'm talking about. That's why she doesn't want them out there documenting what's going on. So he got drugged down the road. He said on an interview that his hand was stuck in the door, and that's why he was, you know, going down the road. But that lady was literally driving down the sidewalk. Like, it's just lawless in Minnesota, and the Minnesota government to help the situation. If anything, they're adding National Guard there, probably to fortify the roadblocks that the left set up. I don't know. So this is another journalist, somebody that's a little controversial, but you know, obviously everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone has a First Amendment right. Everyone has a First Amendment right. Sorry about that. To go out and protest and to, you know, voice their opinion or whatever, as long as they do it within the boundaries of the law. So this is Jake Lang, who was out recording. I think he was at like some anti-Muslim protest, probably, that he created. And you'd have to go and, I say, just anti-Muslim protests. You'd have to go and listen to him talk. He's got a few good points. Like I said, he's a little controversial for me because I think that all Americans who are citizens are Americans. America, like if you go to India, there's Indian people there, and that's who they are. China is Chinese people. When you say describe a Chinese person, there's a few defining factors that make up like what a Chinese person looks like. You say describe an African person. There's, you know, skin color, obviously, that defines that land area. Even Italian people. But in America, you got a guy like me with, you know, Irish, like orangish brown beard. You got dark-haired people. You have black people. You have all these people. As long as they're citizens, you're an American. So that's where we get that's where me and Jake Lang tend to disagree. But here's a video of him after the protest just getting absolutely jumped. And there's another video that I'm not going to play where his ear is cut. He got stabbed in the neck with a flagpole that had like a pointy end. He said that his plate carrier, because he was wearing like a plate carrier for bulletproof vest, he said that at one point he felt metal on metal, like he heard metal on metal, and the plate carrier had a slice in it. Somebody tried to stab him in the vital region of his organs with a knife during this protest. So, like I said, absolutely lawless. If he wants to go and make a fool out of himself and be, you know, very general about being against Muslim people, then it is what it is. But you don't get to retaliate by stabbing the guy or by beating him up, you know, breaking his car. All this stuff is completely lawless.
Oh my God. Drive. Oh my God. Just drive. Stop. Wait, let them go. Let them go. Hey, pull over. Hey, leave it. Get out of here. Leave it up. Get out of here. No. Y'all just let him leave. It's not worth it. Hey. You don't know him. Hey, let him out. Let him out.
It's ridiculous. There was, I think, the black guy that you see in that video helped Nick the whole time, and he's talking about how America's a white nation and all this stuff on stage, and then an African American, a black person. I don't like the word African American because you were born in a lot of African Americans were born in America. You're an American, so this fellow American saw the humanity of the situation of a guy getting beat up and helped him. And this guy was just a bystander that was a good person. And Nick Lang was out giving a speech about how America's a white nation right before that. So that's why I say that America is about whoever wants to contribute and is a citizen. So, this article here, right now, New York City, there's a group of socialists that are putting together an army of 4,000 people to go and basically bring what they've learned in Minnesota to New York City to fight ICE. I'm going to put this on the screen for you. Just so that we can read a little bit of the article. So, New York City socialists are mustering an army of more than 4,000 anti-ICE activists to form a rapid response battalion and obstruct the feds in an expected imminent crackdown on illegal migrants in the Big Apple. Mayor Mondami's comrades with the DSA outlined the mission Thursday at a monthly meeting. So the mayor of New York City is putting together a rapid reaction force of socialists in New York City to fight the federal government. That's what I said. Left threatens civil war. In Minnesota, Tim Walz is mobilizing the National Guard to fight ICE agents. And in New York City, the mayor of New York City is organizing socialists to go out and fight ICE. And it looks like my computer froze. So we'll see what I have left for the show. Oh, there it goes. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today, and I thank everyone who, stayed along for the ride. Please do like and share and subscribe to this content because we want to keep putting more out there. We want to get this information out there. This whole storyline has been a super important thing to understand because if you want to make a judgment on what's going on, you have to understand what's going on. And a lot of people don't, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing out there. Now this is where it tends to get a little bit beyond the line, obviously, of what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. I think to a certain extent, if it was for a good cause, not trying to take over the country, but what Don Lemon did in essence is, civil disobedience to a certain extent. This is not civil disobedience. This guy has a full-blown AR-15 from what it looks like, or some type of assault rifle, supposedly. And he's out, and again, this guy is LARPing. This guy, if you look at him, he's not a serious person. He's serious. He's out there. He's actually doing it. But he's not a serious person. The tough guy persona that he's saying, he's like, this is my neighborhood. I'm going to protect it. One guy with one assault rifle is not going to do very much. But this guy is standing out here with an assault rifle waiting because he got a text alert on his phone that ICE was coming, to the neighborhood or whatever the case is. But you could hear it for yourself. Listen to this guy. So obviously what you just saw was a guy with a rifle. I'm trying to get it with audio here, so bear with me. But what you just saw was a guy with a rifle literally standing on the side of the road waiting for ICE to get there because he heard that there was an illegal immigrant, you know, or an arrest that was about to be made or whatever. And okay, I think we got it now. So here he is.
My block, this is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood showing up.
You guys had a lot of people out here, right?
At least 40 or 50.
That's pretty good for a quick turnout. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You live in
A serious person. He's out there protesting, or well, not even protesting. That's beyond protesting. So this here is another video of protesting, mostly peaceful protesting. And okay, look at the guy with the flag. He's gonna give the crowd a smoke and wave his flag, and then you got the photographer here who is going to get the low angle shot, the dramatic image of this guy flipping off the cops and waving his flag, wearing a skull, you know, skull mask and all that. Look at the cameraman getting the shot. It's not. This isn't real. This is all for you know the brainwashed left to do this stuff and think that that's what's really going on and feel like they're winning. But if the government actually showed up and did what they were gonna do, they would obviously put down this whole thing in about 5 seconds. It's ridiculous. So, and then. Okay, so this is my last video here. This is an ICE agent. The guy in the car is an ICE agent, and he is down the road working on an operation, and these people are sitting there, and they're beeping their horns and yelling that ICE is here, ICE is here. And listen to what this guy says, because this is who they're defending when they go out and protest against ICE.
Second reporting. We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're pressing. We're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane. That's what we're doing. My word's not for you. My word is not for you. I don't have to do it. It's insane. It's insane how you can be honest. Second reporting. We're here to arrest a child sex offender.
They're here to arrest a child sex offender, and these people are down the road honking their horns, making a fool of themselves, acting like they're doing something. And they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what the person that they're protecting has done, who they are, why they're here, why they're not where they were before, like Kilmar Obrega Garcia. Everyone went out and they all rallied in favor of him, getting sent back to the country from El Salvador where he got deported. And he literally said that he couldn't be deported because opposing gangs want to kill him, and he's part of this gang, and if he goes there, the other gangs will find him and threaten his life. So, you got a guy like this that you're willing to run out and defend, but look at the ICE officer here. This guy might even be Hispanic. He might even be you know, a first generation American of a family that came here legally. I'm not sure what this guy's background is, but he's not a white male. He's obviously a different ethnicity than I am. So he's telling them just common sense. He's like, you guys are protecting a child, a sex offender. That's insane. Look at his eyes, too. This is a good person. This is a good man right here.
Down here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're pressed.
With his hands, like,
That
please.
vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender.
A child
That's what you guys
sex
are protecting. Insane.
Absolutely insane. That is totally disgusting. And, you know, I'm not sure if they see the videos themselves of, you know, what these ICE agents are saying or how stupid they look, but they need to do a little reflection. And a lot of these people are just lost souls. A lot of these people are filling a void of needing something real. Like I said, they're LARPing. So they need something real so that they could fulfill themselves and feel good about themselves. And they're filling a hole that you know otherwise can't be fulfilled. And it's probably not fulfilled because at the end of the day, when you go home and you watch the video, you're like, oh, that was awesome. Let's see what's on YouTube. And then it turns out that your group looks stupid and you guys caused a riot. You guys stirred up the whole problem and everything, you know, that you were saying was false. It doesn't actually fill the hole. The only thing that could fill the hole that these people are trying to fill is loving your family, being out and being part of the community, like coaching a baseball team or something, standing up for freedom and liberty and actual prosperity and knowing what you're talking about while you're standing up for it. And then the main thing that's going to fill that hole is a connection to the creator of the universe and a relationship with Jesus Christ. Those are the real things that matter in the world, not this LARPing that the left is doing. So that's basically all I have is this, you know, basically rewriting of the narrative that the media put together where, you know, ICE is the Gestapo, Renee Good was a victim, now we need to protest, shooting fireworks at cops is part of free speech apparently. It's all absolutely ridiculous. So I hope that, you know, you guys see what I'm trying to put forward here. And I hope that you take that and send it to somebody who needs to see clearly what is going on in the world. And please like, share, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I thank everyone for watching. And I hope that you guys tune in next time. Actually, also, if you guys could leave a comment and write, you know, news tips or anything like that, suggestions. There was a guy that I kind of got into it with on one of the YouTube shorts, and he was saying that the shorts are out of context, and you know, that it didn't come across that way because he was just complaining, but and accusing me of being too general and all this. And I told him, I'm like, I'm on a 2-hour show. If I take a 15-second clip and post it and you feel like you didn't get the context, so that's not on me. But if you guys want to leave any suggestions or recommendations, I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for watching.